Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Today we are joined by Justin Hall, Mr. Supplement Snoop himself, to get an all-access look into the 2019 Olympia Expo. So, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm not telling you shit. I'm not sharing anything with you now. Anyway, yeah, good to be here, man. Good to see you again. I was just thinking, man, we didn't get to do one last week, and I was like, I miss my friend Rob, and then you reminded me, maybe that I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, for the listeners out there, you missed our pre-recording conversation, which will remain anonymous for the time being.
Yeah, it's hilarious if you're one of us. It's all good, man. I love it. It's good to be back, man. I missed you.
Me too, buddy. It felt weird not having our weekly chat. It came around the last Wednesday or Thursday. And I thought, well, shit, what am I going to do today? I mean, I got some extra writing done, but I mean, it was more of the mundane and less of the exciting, if you know what I mean.
Right,
so.
right. It's just not the same. I know. I could have maybe tried to join you, but I don't think my brain worked for the last week while we were out there. I think I'm just now getting back on flow. I think we were talking about it before we got on here. Man, that time, I mean, the time zone switch and the everything, man, I'm still like getting back in the flow. It's terrible. And I don't like, it's like when we're used to be on the East Coast. I was talking to Brady about this a lot too, where he's like, man, I just don't like being on the West Coast because by the time you get up, man, everybody on the East Coast is already done working.
Yep.
And it's uncomfortable, man. So it was good to be there, but it was also good to come back, of course, get back in some sort of semblance of life and getting things done.
Yeah. Did you use any kind of melatonin? Because that's supposed to help a little bit with jet lag or getting acclimated to the time difference. Did you experiment with any of that at all during either going there or coming back?
Well, what's funny is I brought a ton of supplements with me, and like the one thing I forgot was a sleep aid. And exactly that reason I explain this to people all the time. I was like, this is like the one case where melatonin might really be useful, and switching time zones. So what I did was, we were there for a few days before the expo, but as soon as we went to the expo on Friday, I went right over to the Core Nutritionals booth and got some Core Triple Z, because that definitely helped.
I imagine
because
so.
I just wasn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all the first couple of days we were there. I mean, like nothing. And then so I got some of that, and I took it was Core, not Core, but that Kodiak Coma formula that we talked about. I took some of that last night and just I died, literally coma. So that was
was that the old formula or the new one?
That's the old one with phenibut in it.
Okay.
I saw the new one and it didn't look like he told me before they were going to put CBD in it. It looks like they changed their mind, which is a good thing, I think. But didn't look much different from just glancing at it. It looked like they just maybe removed maybe a couple dosages.
Yeah, there's a few things that have been tweaked, and we can get into some of the newer products later on, because I reviewed that, I want to say, was it the tail end of that last week that came out, or early this week? The formula came out. Yeah, but it looks fairly similar, if I remember correctly. It's still got the huperzine in there, which I found interesting. I was talking to Moody about this earlier this week. I was working on an article about REM stages of sleep and all of that, and I just happened to come across this study showing things that impacted REM sleep, and they used, they were testing, because acetylcholine, that system, the cholinergic system, is heavily involved in memory processing and consolidation and your dream sleeps and all of that, and they gave the subjects in that study an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, like a prescription grade one, and it showed that it decreased their ability to have memory consolidation, and it reduced the amount of REM sleep they had. So I reached out to Moody and I said, is this a side effect of all acetylcholinesterase inhibitors? Because I didn't go all the way through the study. It was just I just briefly caught that glimpse of that statement in the discussion section, and I pinged him real quick and he said, well, they've used this super powerful drug which has got a number of known side effects, and they were also sleep depriving the people too, so that could have had some implications in it too. So there's a number of confounding factors, and if I had read through the entire study, I would have come across that. So, but still, just seeing it jump out as the acetylcholinesterase inhibitor had some kind of contraindication with the memory consolidation and REM sleep, I found interesting. But I wouldn't blame that entirely on that drug, or just the fact that it was an inhibitor of acetylcholinesterase. It's just
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Moody, like he was good at. He's like, hey man, we got to look at the methods. It's like always make sure you look at the methods,
Yep.
right? Because exactly like for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I can't explain it. I just know I sleep fantastic and I feel fantastic when I take that product.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things. I know you and I have talked about it many times. We're like, it's unique. I don't understand everything that they're doing, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
It works.
Yeah, Phenibut's a hell of a sleep drug when you use it off and on. You use it sporadically. So
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because someone asked me about Phenibut today on my Instagram stories, and I said as much that it's another reason why I don't like to recommend products and things like that, because I don't have an addictive personality at all. But a lot of people that are in the supplement or into supplements and that they do.
Yeah.
They get addicted to things so quickly, whether it's stims or something like Phenibut or whatever. So it's like it's hard to tell someone, oh yeah, just use this product because it works great for me. It's like I just don't have that, and a lot of people do. So it kind of is that slippery slope of I don't, is there anything overly dangerous about Phenibut? I don't know. I mean, if it's addictive, sure, that's not necessarily a good thing, but I don't. It's not enough where it's such a broad discussion that I can't like just pinpoint it. That's why it's like people always go, well, what do you take, to sleep? And I was like,
Yeah, it kind of depends. It depends on how you're feeling, how powerful of a sleep aid you're looking for, and there's a lot of things like we always say, it depends, and nobody likes that answer, but it depends.
It always freaking depends. Yeah, like people always ask me, what pre-workout do I use, and I'm like, it changes every day.
Yes,
depends on how did I sleep, how do I feel, what did I use the day before, what body part am I doing, what push is it, So, but we've hammered that point home.
Oh yeah. So let's give us a rundown of your trip. How was it? Y'all left on a Wednesday, so let's start there and work our way through.
Yeah, it was cool. Like we wanted to get a few days where it was our anniversary, so we wanted to have some time where we could just spend with each other, but also at the same time, the first day we got there, Mark, Iron Brothers owner, Mark,
yep,
him and his wife came down from Canada, and it was the first time we actually met. I've known Mark forever, back to when I think you and CJ reviewed their first pre-workout.
Yeah, first batch of Iron Brothers, yep.
Right, I knew him even before that, so we probably talked every single day for the last, I don't know, couple years. And they came in the same day as we did, so we got to meet them and just we had dinner and drinks. It was great. Their Mark is really a class act, just one of the best people I've met in the industry. So we spent a lot of time with them and some other friends that sort of came in as well. But we stayed at the Trump, which got some people like a little weird, which was hilarious, I thought. Because it was actually a good place to stay too, because it was closer to the convention center, but also we didn't want to stay somewhere that had a casino. The cool thing about the Trump Hotel is the rooms were amazing, but you just walk in, go to your room, walk back out, boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
When a lot of these hotels down in Vegas, it's like you got the casinos, and it takes forever to get in and out and stuff like that. So we just wanted to stay, and then people got pissed that we stayed at the Trump. I was like, God, get over it. Like, yeah, okay, it wasn't like a political statement. We just stayed at a hotel. So, but then we actually did the expo on Friday, and we weren't sure if we were going to do like the weekend passes or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? I said, let's just do the 1 day thing. And I'm glad we did. But also, we had dinner. Like the best part, definitely one of the highlights of the trip was having dinner with Matt Nickerson, Vaso 6.
Yeah,
Matt.
Mr. Vaso 6.
Yeah, we got together, Mark and his wife, me, Lila, and then Matt and his girlfriend had just like the most epic steak dinner and conversation like ever. Like Matt is, I know we've talked about Matt a lot.
Yeah.
Matt is just a phenomenal freaking human being. I love that guy.
Yeah.
So It was great, man. You know, the expo itself was really, it sucked. It was, I could have been there for 2 minutes and Ben had left,
Really?
but we had a couple. I met with a few companies that we have a lot of good relationship with, like Core and
Hmm.
Ambrosia Collective and Controlled Labs. But other than that, man, like if I was a consumer, a customer,
Hmm.
and had to wait in line and do all this, it sucked. Like there was nobody. Nobody had booths. NutraBio didn't have a booth. Bang didn't even have a booth.
Weird.
Nobody did. Yeah, nobody did. Muscle Sport didn't have one. So it was shocking.
Huh.
It was a lot of apparel brands that had booths, and I was like, how the do you guys how is that a good idea to have a T-shirt brand booth, like to pay that much money? But that's what it was, just tons of apparel companies.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. The title sponsor, I want to say, was Muscle Farm for the Olympia. I remember seeing that, and that I wondered if that
Okay,
had anything to do with it. Because I mean, in the
I
past,
did
it's
see that.
been bigger names. I mean, it's been Bang, Redcon One, a bunch of other big companies. And then I saw Muscle Farm was the title sponsor this year, and I thought, huh, that doesn't seem. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think of bodybuilders when I think of Muscle Farm. I think
where the
sports
hell they?
athletes, UFC, MMA type things.
Yeah, where the hell they get money to be a title sponsor of?
I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I saw I saw their booth.
Hmm.
The I would say I didn't really stop and look at it, but the Redcon booth was really impressive. Like it was, well, I should say it was huge.
Yeah.
Blackstone had a pretty big one, but nobody was like, I didn't see anybody in it really. I would say the biggest line I saw was for arms race
Hmm.
nutrition, but that was only because what's his name, the influencer that's behind that was there,
Yeah.
and people were in line to meet him.
Okay.
Um, but as far as the rest of it goes, man, it was. I mean, the expo itself, it's a big area,
Right.
but you could have walked through it in 10 minutes, been done.
Yeah, it's the Arnold for the listeners that have not been to the Arnold. The Arnold, you are like nut to butt with everybody in there. I mean, it is a sea of people, and you could spend 30 minutes trying to walk from, you know, one booth number one to booth number six in the same aisle because there's that congested, and people just stand still. They don't move. The Olympia, the experiences I've been there, it's definitely a bigger venue than the Arnold is comparatively. So it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to move in there, but there was still a good amount of foot traffic when I was there. I didn't go this year because I'll be there for supply side next month for in October. But was I've heard that there weren't a lot of companies just there in general this year, and there just wasn't a lot of foot traffic at all. It was fairly empty expo all around.
Yeah, and I can't tell. I feel like there was a lot of people there, but like you said, it's really spread out. It was
Hmm.
nothing like the Arnold. Um, so it's hard to tell. Like I said, I feel like there was a lot of people there.
Hmm.
Um, but we were only there. We showed up Friday afternoon. I was probably there for maybe like 3 hours, 3 hours. And that was only because I stopped at Core's booth to meet them. They have such a great team that I love the people over there. And we hung out with them for probably a good hour, and then we hung out with the Ambrosia Collective for a while, and then Control. But other than that, I mean, I was like, let's just go, because it was just,
Yeah.
you didn't really have to worry about. It was nothing like the Arnold, like exactly what you said. There was plenty of room to walk around.
Hmm.
Um, there was no booths that really congested traffic that people, like Bang in the past or whatever, people are like making a destination
Oh yeah.
spot. There was none of that. So it was weird, man. That was my first Olympia, and it was yeah, it's kind of weird
A
to
little
be
underwhelming.
honest. Yeah, and you know what I didn't like, what sucked? Like it took forever for me to find the Ambrosia Collective's booth.
Hmm.
Um, it's so compartmentalized there. You can walk past a booth and basically not see it. Um, it was just really, I don't know, the layout sucked.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I would do it again. I would just probably go see everyone outside of, and that was a cool thing. Like we sat down with some people from some different companies that we've, gotten a good relationship with, and had drinks and dinner, and just, nothing supplement related, just had a good time. And we had an absolute blast, but the expo itself was just,
Lame.
yeah, pretty lame.
Yeah, that's the way I've started to approach the expos. the recent trips I've made. I mean, my first time at the Arnold, I think I spent Sandy and I spent a good 6 hours on the expo floor the first day, just walking to every one of the booths and taking in the whole experience. But the more times that I go to these shows over the past years, the less time I spend on the actual floor, and it's more time in the surrounding restaurants or in the bars or in the hotel
Right.
lobbies, talking with everybody, either shoring up relationships, meeting people for the first time, or just hanging out and just enjoying being able to catch up with friends that we've made in the industries over the years. But it's not about being on the expo floor, because I still wonder why companies do it. I mean, I get there's some publicity there, but social media has changed everything, and it's so damn expensive for all the brands to do everything from
Mm-hmm.
shipping product out there, setting up the booth, just paying the little royalty fee to even have the opportunity to have a booth there, unloading it, paying for the labor that goes in all of doing that trucking out stuff and breaking down, paying for the labor that goes with all of that, paying for hotel lodging meals for your whole staff. And most of the time people come through, they just want the free samples, and they'll give you their email address, but they're not going to buy product. So it has always seemed to be a losing proposition to me from a company standpoint, and I think it's going to continue to go that way as the years go by.
Yeah, there was a couple things you said there that I can definitely echo. I think, like Core, for instance, we went over. They have the America Energy,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, yeah, we couldn't ship energy drinks, there. So they're in Virginia or whatever it is,
Right.
to Vegas. They were like, there's no way. Like, it was just ridiculous. So, but also you hit it on the head perfectly. Like, you don't need an expo anymore to go. That used to be back in the day. That was how you found out about new products, and you get to see these people. But now with social media, you can talk to everybody on a day-to-day basis. You basically know them before you go there anyway. So
Correct.
really all you're going there for is for free stuff.
Yeah.
I think. Or to meet an influencer or something like that. And if that's not your thing, then there's no reason to go.
Correct. Yeah, I would agree. What was the steak place y'all went to? Because Sandy and I will be there next month, and we're looking for good places to go.
Yeah, okay. So we were on Fremont.
Okay.
We went, with that area is very cool. That was the first time I'd ever gone, say, off strip in Vegas, the Fremont area, but it was called Hugo's. It was like down in like a basement. It looked like if you were in there, like you were either meeting like some mafia members or something like that, like, or you were definitely gonna get knocked off if you stayed down there for like too long. It was like dark and like intimate, but really really cool. Like the food was amazing. The people that worked there were absolutely phenomenal. Like it was just fantastic experience all the way around. The bar had good drinks. Actually, it was nice because Moody was not able to go,
Uh-huh.
but he's like, I want to buy you a drink because I'm not able to be there.
Hey.
So the bartender helped us out because he wanted to make sure it was something special. So it was cool. So Moody was there in spirit, literally in spirit, and
Nice.
it was a great time though, man. It was a really great experience. I absolutely recommend it. Yeah, it was like Hugo's like Cellar, I think it was called Hugo's Cellar.
Okay.
But it was on Fremont Street. And Fremont Street was cool because they're the ones with like the $5 blackjack tables, and it's a little cheaper to gamble there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is cool down there, man. Like if I was gonna go back, like if we're gonna go to Vegas and go gamble and stuff like that, I would go back down there for sure.
Okay. All right. Because
it was a cool scene.
we're looking for that, and I also owe Rob from Steel Fit a dinner. I owe him and his wife a dinner because I lost a bet for the super regionals for college baseball when Florida State beat LSU. So I owe him a dinner as well. So I'm looking. Also, it's either a dinner one night for me and Sandy, or a dinner where I owe Rob and his wife. That we're gonna have to pay back that bet. So that'll go into the pot.
I didn't get to see Rob there, but I've talked to him briefly. I like what they do over there. I like that company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some other stuff coming out in the works this year. I think they're going to be expanding their basics line or whatever. Everybody calls it a little bit something different, but it's
right, like essentials or
the essentials
basics
line,
or
the basics commodity series, whatever. Or but yeah, they did the Sun Fiber, which is the dietary fiber recently, the MCT, and from some offline conversations we've had, there's a few more things in the works which I'm excited to see, and I think a few more of the top line products of maybe there might be a GDA in the works. I don't remember if that's true or not, but I haven't seen the profiles on it either way. But so
Yeah, we had a good conversation. I don't know if have you talked to the guys from Max and Sledge at all?
Seth Feroci's company,
Yeah, well, sort of.
sort of.
Well,
I mean,
I
he's the
mean,
face of it. I'm
he's
assuming
he's part of it. I mean, the people that actually
do
like
it, do the formulations.
well, yeah, they're super good dudes. They're actually from like the Pittsburgh area, which is kind of near where I grew up, and they're just one of those companies that they just don't buy into the industry part of it. They just do things sort of their own way. You know, they make good formulas.
Yeah.
Seth is cool. Seth's a cool guy, but they have a lot of experience within the manufacturing and the formulation part of it. But they said they spend like no money on marketing, like zero. They have like zero marketing budget. All they do is their own content, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they don't do the pay for play stuff either, which is probably why we get along so well. But good dudes, really, really good. I know people, they make really good formulas, but if you support Accent Sledge, you support good people. Like, I just want people to know that. Like I said, we sat down, we had dinner with them. It wasn't anything business related, just because we've gotten to know them really well. That's a company that I can always say, hey, are they going to be your favorite formulas? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you'll get a good product, and your money's going to people that are invested in the company and
doing good
making
stuff.
cool shit. So yeah, big fan of those guys.
Okay, I met Seth when he was with Primeval, 2 years ago. I want to say is when I met him at the Arnold 2 years ago. But I have not kept up with Accent Sledge since he broke off and went and started that company or became part of that company, or however the behind the scenes dealings
Right.
are done.
Yeah, it's like that whole where people go, oh, that's so and so's line, and then you're like, I'm not saying Seth is. Seth is obviously, he's very involved with that company, but there's
Right.
like some people that are not involved at all,
Yeah.
and they just show up to take pictures. I know that's not the way it is with Seth, but
Yeah.
they have a good group. They have a really good group over there. I like those guys a lot.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
I'll have to get their contact info from you when we get off of this this podcast, and I'll reach out to them and get them on the podcast soon and see what's up with them.
Yeah, like I said, they don't do a whole lot of, but it is good. They had a lot of experience just in general in the industry. And then if you can attach someone like Seth to it right away, it gives you a nice springboard to be successful right away. Because it's like, you see all these people, they want to start a supplement company. You don't realize, the guy that does our formulas has been doing it for 30 years. And the guy that does this manufacturing has been doing it for 30 years. And then Seth is involved. It's like, there's a lot of experience that, and everyone's like, oh, I can start one out of my basement and I can be, hit the ground running. It's like, oh, yeah, good luck.
Not so much. So did your wife walk the expo floor with you? And has she ever been to a supplement expo with you before? And what's her take on the whole scenario?
Yeah, well, I think you already know this, but I don't go anywhere without her.
Yeah.
Literally anywhere. So yeah, she definitely she loves to be involved. I love having her involved, which is really cool. It's not like I think I mentioned on my stories the other day too. I was like, you're in a good spot when you're going to Las Vegas and you would prefer to bring your wife with you than leave her at home, because this is not going to be as fun. But it was her first experience. She did, she went with me to the block party at Natural Body Inc., which to me, if I was going to choose, if I was a consumer, I would go to the block party 100 times out of 100 over what I experienced at the Olympia. Mm-hmm. But she had a blast. It was quick. She was kind of the same boat. She was like, well, she loves meeting the people that I know and likes to. It's cool for them too to see, okay, it's not just me and she's just my wife somewhere off to the side. Like, she gets heavily involved, and we met some of the people that, like I said, we've been friends with for a long time. Some people that subscribe to the app and they're in the group traveled out there as well. Mm-hmm. And so it was cool, but we didn't. Yeah, she was kind of the same boat. She's like, well, this is kind of boring. She loves the people from Core. She loves Samantha from Core Nutritional. Is like, so they just hung out and did their girl stuff and their but she adores her. So she was good. She loves to be involved, and she's very she's very quick to be like, you know what, we don't need to talk to that company anymore, kind of thing. Like she will ruthlessly tell it how it is. So she's
Is it
like, you
based
don't
on
need to
how
be.
they treat her, or their formulas, the way they conduct themselves, or just the kind of way they kind of brush you off or something? Or
It's always the vibe. It's always if they want to use us for, it's good when, right, there's that fine line. And I mean, you know all about this too from your time. It's like you work together organically sometimes and then there's people that just want to say, oh, we know if we can, if we're around you, it's helpful for us. And so
yeah,
it's usually nothing formula wise. It's always the vibe from the people.
gotcha. She's got
But
that
so
gut feeling.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes I'm a little nicer than she is, and she's like, no. She's like, you're not working with them. Like, no, I'm telling you, like, it's not good. And
It's good
she's
to
always
have
right.
that. It's definitely good to have the strong backing there, because it's Sandy's done the same thing for me before, where
Yeah, man.
you and I are actually like mired in the weeds of stuff, and they've got, so we might be a little more reticent to pull back or not take as assertive or aggressive of a stance on something. But
Yep.
then when we got them back behind us, they can take a little bit more objective look from it and say, you're getting screwed here, don't do this, or you're not going to like where this
Hmm.
ends up. They're obviously,
Yeah,
that
actually,
company doesn't have your best interests at heart.
the company that you brought up before we came on as a joke,
Yeah.
I remember the first like interaction I had with that company, and she was like, absolutely fucking not. You will not work with that company. And I was like, well, maybe they mean well. And she's like, no, I'm telling you. She's like, that, nope. And she was right. So,
Just text me, bro. Just text me.
right, right. That's all you got to do, man. Like, yeah, man. We need like an uncensored, like where we can't get sued and some kind of
This be like a members only section. You and I will put,
mhm.
we'll make it a subscription model. Be a subscription from the Supplement Snoop app, and then we make them sign a waiver that says anything said here you can't get pissy about and sue us.
Yep, because that would be hilarious.
Supplement Snoop and Supplement Engineer Raw.
Raw, there you go.
There we go.
Raw and uncut for sure. I like it, man. We'll see. We'll
Were
see.
there
We'll
any
get there.
new
We'll get there.
companies there that you hadn't seen before, or did you get to try any new products?
I did get a couple new products from Controlled Labs,
Blue
but I don't
Gene
know.
and Blue
I don't know.
Sugar, or any of those?
Yeah, I don't know how like new they were. They were actually more like commodity like products. They were it's called like Gut Back. It was like a digestive support one that actually was really cool.
Yeah.
There was another one called Orange Shell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bone health. It's got a couple forms of the vitamin K2 and like I said, very straightforward formulas, but really, really cool at the same time. And there was another one. It was one with CoQ10. It was like a cardiovascular support supplement. I'm a huge fan of Controlled Labs. I think what they do is super underrated. It goes back again to like the thousandth time we talk about the amino acid thing. Why
Yep.
why extend should just take the money that they won out of this whole thing. People not knowing they got lucky. They got in before people
Oh yeah.
turned their back on BCAAs. So just chalk it up. You won, go away. Like because Purple Wrath, right? That was the product that should have won that
Correct.
battle, right? But Extend somehow did, and so hey, you guys got lucky. Now, please just stop doing what you're doing and just go away, please.
Better marketing. It's better marketing on Cyvation's part
Mm-hmm.
back then than Controlled Labs. Controlled Labs has always maintained a lower profile, I think, as far as from like a marketing and advertising point of view. They make better formulas, hands down. But I think they like to maintain a lower profile and let the products speak for themselves more.
Yeah, and which sucks because honestly, I would love if that were the case, but that just isn't the way it works anymore. You know what I mean? Like, actually, I was having a conversation with them about this because they asked for my just any feedback I had about what they could do. I said, you know what? I said, it honestly physically pains me to say this to you, but I said, one thing that you might want to think about doing is sort of like a relaunch. They've been around for so long, and their labels are basically the same. It's the same look. I said a lot of people just don't realize that you guys are still coming out with new things and you're still a relevant company. I was like,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I said, like maybe like just an updated look and sort of a relaunch to get people to rediscover how good, because your formulas speak for themselves. I mean, they're really good formulas, and
Yeah.
we just had a conversation about that. I said, you have no idea how much it hurts for me to say this to you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, but it's just the necessary evil that people associate new with better, but that's okay, or it's exciting, right? But then if you play into that a little bit, but also your formulas still hold up their end of the bargain, there's like that give and take there. So it kind of sucks, but
Yeah, I would agree. And the guy that's been doing the formulations for him recently, we both know, he's created some knockouts for him,
hmm
and I'd like to see them get the same thing. I mean, SNS. I think SNS is a good example. They've really taken this year. They've come out with a bunch of killer formulas, but they've stepped up their marketing, and they've kind
hmm
of gone through that relabeling period. I think Controlled Labs could kind of go that route that SNS is too. They're not completely selling out to the influencing side of things and getting a
right.
big name influencer and all that, but they are stepping up their marketing to be a little bit more aggressive with it, get out on the forefront more. Um, Maybe tweak the look. I've always liked the look of Controlled Labs. I don't think it needs to change all that much, but maybe just something to get, inject some enthusiasm more into the brand. Um,
Yeah, that was my thing. Like I love the way they look, but what I constantly, whenever I talk about Controlled Labs, I get a lot of messages from people that are like, "Oh, I didn't realize they were still." So what do you
yeah,
do? What do you do there? Just, I mean, the fact that they've been around for a long time and make good formulas for a long time, like that actually is hurting them in a way. It's like kind
yeah.
of weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to get their owner on here. I've known him since back to my days for several years now. I think he likes to maintain a low profile, so I don't know the chances
hmm
of getting him on here. Kind of the same thing with
You just
Steve at
can't do that
SNS.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. And that, I mean, it sucks, but I mean, if other people are getting out there constantly and getting in people's faces, that's what people remember and that's what people know. And it
yep.
just, you have to get out there.
I would agree. I would agree, man. Um, how hopped up on stimulants were you at the Olympia? I know it's usually a cesspool of caffeine and aminos coursing through everybody's veins at those expos.
Yeah, I didn't try anything. I don't think at anybody's booth. I just, we went over to the America one and I had America Energy.
Yeah,
They just had their own little personal stash. Like I said, they couldn't bring any with them, but
right.
I didn't go through any lines. I didn't get any products. I didn't sample anything
Hmm.
other than what the hell did I try? I tried some of the controlled labs. They had some aminos, I think, but yeah, I wasn't bad. I wasn't too bad to be honest with you. I did, although they're not sleeping, so I brought a lot of stuff with me. like, like I probably brought more supplements than clothes for Vegas. So
Nice.
most of my suitcase was supplements I might need in certain areas, but yeah, it wasn't too bad, really.
Do
But
you
you're
have
right.
any?
Everyone's just walking around.
Do you have any issues flying with supplements? I get that question a lot. Of can I? How do you travel with supplements? How do you pack? I've never had an issue. If anything, they'll
hmm
take the tub and they'll run it through the little. I make sure it's not bomb powder scanner thing, whatever they call that thing. But what have been your experience with it?
Well, it's actually funny that you bring this up too, because are you talking carry on or are you talking check bags?
I only carry on. I don't check unless we're going like overseas or something.
Right. So I usually just always check a bag. So I don't even think I've really carried supplements on. Mine's always like in the check bag. And
Okay.
I've never had any issues, even when we gone out of the country,
Hmm.
go to Jamaica, the Caribbean, like, or Mexico, like places where they actually, your odds of
Yeah.
them not wanting you to do that are pretty high. I've never had one issue, but Ben
Hmm.
Ben Kane, told me that he said they had an issue at the airport because he said, here's a fun fact. He showed me a text the other day. He goes, fun fact, nitrates set off or are similar to explosive. Something
Yeah.
about explosives or they set off some sort of, let me make sure I'll go back to it. I don't know,
Combustible.
have
It's
you
a
ever heard that?
combustible element, I think.
Have you ever heard that before? Yeah, he says, dude, so fun fact, nitrates run a false positive for explosives in airports. And I was
Nice.
like, oh shit,
Nice.
so that's good to know. He said this is the main issue in shipping nitrates overseas. So
Hmm.
I didn't know that, but I've never had any problem at all, ever.
No, I don't think I've ever brought a nitrate inclusive product with me. Usually, if it's a pre-workout powder, it's like one of the NutriBio ones that because it doesn't have any nitrates in it, or some other caffeinated powder. It'll be I usually just trample with sample packets if I'm gonna bring pre-workout with me. I won't bring a whole tub of that because one time I did take a full powder of something. I think it was when I was coming back from Tiger Fitness and the Arnold, not this year, but in 2018. They sent me back with a tub of Clash or Vasky or something, and the not the flight attendant, but the TSA person looked at it, said, "What is this?" So I said, "Well, I'm in the supplement industry. It's a pre-workout powder." And she scanned it and she said, "Well, you can't take this through. It's been open." I thought, I've never had this issue before. They'll usually let me take an
Hmm.
open powder, and she says, "No, you can't take it." And I thought, well, shit, there's a $50 tub of powder that's in the trash now. Thanks for nothing. So
Yeah, that's what I try to do too. Is like if I'm going, I try to make sure it's either a closed tub or a sample packet. That's what I brought most.
yeah,
But yeah, because I brought some stuff back too. I got some full tubs given to me, and I did use them while I was there. Didn't have any issues. It's kind of scary actually. Like I'm like, you sure you want to let me go through all this stuff? Like that's okay.
they're probably used to it. They know the Olympia's in town, and same thing with like the Ohio TSA when the Arnold's in town. They just see tubs and tubs
Oh
of
yeah.
Vein Killer and Psycho Blaster and all these other weird, like psychotic sounding products. And let's just put
Hmm.
them through. It's just a bunch of caffeine and aminos. It's fine. It's fine. Just keep going.
Right? No, you're right. I mean, at some point, it would just be a giant waste of time. Plus, I think most people anymore bring something like that with them, whether it's some kind of multivitamin or some kind of, herbal extract, or I mean, everybody brings some shit with them. Or and your wife, my wife, she's got all kinds of makeup and stuff like that too that could be anything. So I guess at what point you'd be like, well, we'd never get through the airport.
Yeah, I would agree. When you travel, do you still keep up pretty consistent with training? And do you get in any training sessions with some of our favorite supplement company owners?
No, you know what? And I train by myself. Like I still, but I always will do something. Like whenever we're on vacation, I still make sure I work out. But what I like to do is, in the weeks before a trip, I'll go more intense. That
Hmm.
way, during say a vacation, I'll still go to the gym, but I don't necessarily have to have like that balls to the walls workout.
Yeah.
Um, just in case I can't find a gym or anything like that if it's not convenient. So they had a decent gym at the hotel, and Mark and I had a few workouts together, and um, just basically going through the motions a little bit. But it was good because it was better than nothing. But
Yeah.
also, I like to set myself up where I don't need to punish myself necessarily. It's more just like, hey man, let's get the blood flowing and get a little bit in. So, but I never take more than say 2 or 3 days off from the gym, no matter what, no matter if we're on
Yeah.
vacation or not.
Yeah. It's more, I guess, like a maintenance slash deload or anything when you travel, or it's probably over needed.
Right. And there was a lot of people that are like, hey, we're going to be at so and so gym. I'm like, yeah, no.
That turns into more dicking around than actual working out.
Yeah. And I just really don't like training with other people very much. I've just gotten out of it. And um, I don't know, man. I'm just
Yeah.
not like that, I guess. The supplement industry people that I meet, and it's cool because it's like a big community and everyone gets together, but
Mhm.
we're like, oh, okay, let's go. We'll go to the gym and then we'll go out to eat and stuff. And I'm like, nah, that's all right. That's all
I'm
right.
good, thanks.
I'm good, man. I'm good. And again, we didn't really go there for the Olympia or that. It was just that was kind of part of our anniversary trip anyway. So we had, it wasn't the Olympia wasn't the destination necessarily. It just happened to be kind of going on, which is cool. And then you can, do some business expenses and
Yeah. Roll it
stuff
off.
at the same time. So.
For any IRS agents listening, this is all on the books. It's all on the
Absolutely.
books.
Yeah, only half. Only half, you know what I mean? Because half business, half pleasure.
Exactly. All right, so what has been new since you've gotten back as far as Supplement Snoop, the app? What's coming up new with that?
Well, we've been continuing more with also the small business program. That's been really cool. Really diving deep into helping some of these people with, man, it's amazing. It just never ceases to amaze me. Obviously I can't like talk specific details, but you have people that have issues with manufacturers, and it amazes to me too the lengths people will go to screw people over because they don't know any better. And that was at the heart of why Brady and I decided to go this route anyway, was because when you get screwed over from not knowing any better, and then you learn your lesson, you do feel sort of a responsibility to pass that along to somebody else. I don't want other people to go through that if you don't have to, So that's kind of what inspired that. So we've been focusing a lot on that because the app is good. The app is sort of self-sustainable. We're constantly updating it still and everything like that. But the small business program being tied into it is going to allow us a lot more flexibility in the near future with the app, because everything app updated and related is very expensive and very time consuming. So Brady's very conservative with how he wants to spend money. I'm very conservative. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we're really getting to a good point collectively where we'll be able to, say after the first year the app will be out, which would be in like the spring. I think you're going to see even a much bigger, better version of it because of what we've been doing in the meantime. So we're getting there. So it's something we could do. Sure, we could do this, we could do that, but we're still a little bit hesitant. Until we feel comfortable, financially, we're okay. We can get it more aggressive. So that's kind of where we're at.
Gotcha. Can you elaborate any on? You don't have to name the specific company or the specific manufacturing plant, but can you elucidate a little bit more what the actual complication was, or how the manufacturer was screwing over company X?
Yeah, well, usually what happens is it seems to me where, and a lot of people don't know this, where you have these brokers, right? A lot of times you think you're talking to a manufacturer, but really it's a broker that works in between several companies and several different manufacturers. And it's like, that was one thing Brady told me early in the process that I had no idea. He goes, he said what he would do is when he would call a manufacturer, he would make them FaceTime him. And if they wouldn't, then he's like, well, then I don't. He's like, are you at a manufacturing facility, or are you just you're in some total different city, and then all you're really paying those people to do is call this manufacturer, sort of be that broker. I had no idea that's how it works. So
news to me.
Right, and which is crazy, and it's like what you notice is unless you press people, these say brokers or these manufacturers, unless you have other options. If you're a smaller company, you don't really get much information. But also at the same time, there's so many probably small companies that are in the same boat, and a lot of them just sort of deal with it. But it's like, if you really but I will say this, everybody that I've personally dealt with have been great. I haven't seen any like super negative experiences, but there's just layers to it, I think, that most people don't understand. And unless you ask questions and unless you have someone that can tell you things like that, like, you would never know. You know what I mean? Like when Brady told me that, he goes, yeah, I make them FaceTime me. He's like, because I want to see where you are. I was like,
fascinating.
I never would have thought to do that.
No, that's something. And so that's part of why I think that's one of those things that is so shrouded in mystery. It was one aspect of the manufacturing side of the business that's so shrouded in mystery. I don't think they want that getting out there. And that's why it's so hard to get an answer about what goes on in the manufacturing world, is that they don't want to know that there's this little intermediate guy who's not really
Yeah.
doing anything, but he's getting a cut off everybody in the meaning. I mean, he's getting a call from the manufacturers connecting with the companies, and he's stealing off the companies because the manufacturers aren't going to be in turn marking up the cost to manufacture the goods to being able to cut him in on the profits.
Exactly, right. So you're paying an extra level, just like a broker trying to get a supplement into a retail store. It's like that's just another layer of cost that you're probably not expecting.
Right.
So then, working with that, hey, how can you, because a lot of people, right, that's the ultimate thing is the cost of producing the goods. Well, it's like, well, where's there excess that you don't need it? Maybe that's part of it. It's just totally, it's mind blowing to me. Luckily, Brady knows a ton about the manufacturing, about that aspect, because we get into some of these things and man, I'm like, man, seriously? Like this is how it works? It's crazy to me.
Fantastic, dude. Where do you see the small business program growing from here?
There is a lot of need for it, man. I think right, it's a good question. I mean, we've talked a lot about this. We really did it, like I said before, out of necessity. And we've got clients that have come to us, not just supplement company, but outside that realm, just small business in general. I think this is I think it's ultimately going to be very difficult not to really blow this thing up and make it a full-fledged
Consulting agency or something?
Yeah, because there is such a need for it, man. And to be perfectly honest, Preeti and I do it for basically nothing compared to like what a lot of people do, just because we just genuinely feel like we have a duty to fill. And yeah, sure, it's pricey. Well, pricey, on the surface, but for what you get out of it and the experience, I mean, so I think him and I, that's why another two, we really try to be conservative with how much we sort of branch out, because you don't ever want to get to that position where you can't do that job, because we've sort of had to dial it back. Like we're like, okay, our goal is to get X amount of clients here and there, but we sort of had to say, whoa, like we just got to chill a little bit because, this is new for us too. So, but it's going really well and there is a big need for it. And I think, if anything, I think this is really going to be a huge part of our future for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Excellent. Let's move on to some lighter topics. Get to any new products you've tried within the past week since our last chat, or I guess week and a half since we missed our date last week. You stood me up for some harlot at the Olympia.
And I almost felt bad about it until what you said earlier.
You're never gonna let me live that down.
Yeah, that was dog's freaking out about something.
Oh, I didn't realize you had a dog.
Yeah, he's the most spoiled dog on the planet. What the hell? Yeah, I have used some new stuff lately. I did get you're a coffee person, right?
I do enjoy coffee.
I got the new Ritual AM from Ambrosia.
Yeah.
Did you try that before?
I tried, I tried the original flavors, the orange juice and was it hazelnut cream? Is that what it was?
It was like Italian, like
Italian
Irish
coffee
or something.
Yeah.
Or Italian.
Yeah, the orange juice was gross, but the coffee creamer flavored was delicious.
Interesting, because I know that was like the only complaint I ever heard about it was flavors, right? But they just released a newer version and they put them in like those eco-friendly bags, which I think is pretty cool of them. If you're gonna go that route, they did away with the plastic, so that's cool. But there's a slightly different formula for the new Ritual AM, and the flavor is, to me, a big improvement. Like I love the old one, I think it's Irish cream, whatever it is, but the new one is very good.
Yeah, Italian coffee cream is what they've got on the site. I'm pulling it up now to see what their
well, what they did,
are.
One thing that they told me they did was before they added whey protein to it, but it wasn't enough to enhance the nutritional value where they could put protein. Like if you saw in their ingredients, there was like whey protein isolate, but they said they couldn't get enough in there to validate actually adding protein content. So what they did was, I think they switched over to BCAAs for this one.
Yeah, they pixie
And
dusted in 1.5 grams of BCAAs in there. I think
yep,
that's useless. I think that's a useless component to put in there. Same thing with the Velocitol.
yeah, I
I,
think what was the Velocitol dosage?
1 gram, so it's half of the active. I mean, I'm guessing they're assuming they're gonna have people are gonna take 2 servings of this a day or something.
That's usually what I do is 2 scoops.
So I just, man, this is really expensive. MCT powder is what this is looking like to me. And go BHB. Is it super salty? I mean, they've got 6 grams of BHB salts in there.
Yeah, I didn't notice it being like salty. I thought it was really good.
Cool.
But that, yeah, I can't remember. I've got it sitting around here somewhere. What else did I get? I think I did try. Did you see? And actually, on Stacked, there is Action Nutrition. Did we talk about them already?
We have not talked about them, and I saw them popping up on Stacked yesterday.
Yeah, their pre-workout. They sent me their pre-workout. Yeah, it's called Bolt Extreme Energy.
Yes.
These guys are from USP Labs, and they also, what did they do? I ran into them at the Olympia, and they bought like the modern BCAA. It's very USP looking.
Yes, it looks exactly like the old USP Labs tub. Yeah.
So they had that, but then they let me try something. They're working on a protein sort of, was it hydroslate? It was more of a juice like protein drink rather than like the milk.
Yeah.
It was pretty fantastic actually. So,
Interesting.
but that's something that they have coming down the road, so I won't spoil it for them.
Okay. What do you think about them launching across the globe? It says Action Nutrition is the first ever globally launched brand. That seems
I
like
mean,
it could be a logistics nightmare trying to launch in all of those countries simultaneously.
yeah, I mean, it would have to be an absolute nightmare. You would really, and I guess, right, if a lot of them have experience at USP Labs and stuff like that, you would have to have a hell of a team behind this.
Yeah.
Because that would be, when I read that, I was like, holy shit. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Their pre-workout was pretty good. It's got the neurofactor in there. I know you like neurofactor too.
I do like Neurofactor. The formula does look, it's got theanine in there.
Theanine in it. I know. That was the only thing that I was like, why? Why are we doing this? Because I mean, it's nothing like that we haven't seen, but it's solid dosages and
Right.
but that freaking theanine, man,
Yep.
theanine in there.
Yeah, and plus you've got taurine in there, which also has some GABAergic properties too. So I'm wondering if this is going to have much of a kick to it at all.
Yeah, it was all right. It was solid energy for me. It wasn't anything that I would seek out. But I think a lot of people, I guess, I keep saying that, but it's like I don't really know any people that this applies to. We constantly talk about this theanine thing, and I'm like, I guess there's people that get super anxious with caffeine, but I don't know any of them.
I don't either. I mean, they're probably pre-workout newbies, but if you're a newbie, you're probably not going for a 300 milligram pre-workout anyway.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm still lost with the whole thing.
I don't know. Or it might be one of those trendy ingredients that people think it's cool because a lot of the biohackers and the nootropics nerds are using them. And I say nootropic nerd lovingly because I'm a nootropic nerd myself. So any snowflakes out there, don't get offended that I said the word nerd. It's not meant disparagingly. Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's a badge of honor.
Yeah,
be a nootropic nerd. Yeah, so man, I just don't know. It is what it is. It looks like 100 other pre-workouts. Not that that's bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, the betaine and the beta alanine, we've seen that combination a lot, and I just, for better or worse,
I did see something. My protein. Someone sent it to me the other day. That my protein. So they have on Stack. They had a product called the Pump, but then there's another one. What is their other product? Because I saw the name of it and I was like, wow, that's a trademark issue waiting to happen.
Protein spread, dip pot, protein spread, the plant protein. The multi
No,
clear whey isolate, granola, the joint.
shit. Maybe it wasn't on Stacked. Someone sent me. I think it's a new pre-workout. Oh, let's see.
Oh, the amino energy? No, I mean
Yeah, yeah,
that's back in
yeah,
April 1st though. They released that.
yeah. The amino energy. I was like, isn't that exactly like
Optimums.
that shitty Optimum one?
Yeah, but maybe they're
Yeah,
gonna
the
pull
amino.
a stupid ass Ohio State thing and try to trademark the word the, and
Right.
so it's a completely new topic now. It's a new
Right.
word.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, that's the one it was. I saw it was like the amino energy. I was like, wow, that's creative.
Yeah, well, yeah. Never mind. I'll reserve my disparaging remarks for that university from Ohio for another
Yeah,
thing.
they're not too bright out there.
Yeah.
Did you see Olympus Labs' new direction now that it's actually like start to come out?
Yeah, the lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it looks very, 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 very similar to Ghost. The
Yeah.
whole angle is very much in the vein of Ghost.
Hero instead of legend.
Yeah. It. I understand that they're trying to. That's the millennial thing, but the millennials really make up that much of the purchasing population of the supplement users. I think when you go for the lifestyle brand, you're alienating a significant portion of the supplement purchasing population.
Well, and the part that gets me is so if you're gonna go for a lifestyle brand, that's cool, but make it your own lifestyle brand.
Yeah,
Like,
don't riff on somebody else's.
and I like the guys at Olympus Labs. I think we've always had a really good relationship, but
Yeah.
I just don't understand. And what they explained to me too is as they were going into this new direction, they said, we're going to focus on. They're heavy into like the EDM scene and all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they were going to make formulas that reflected that. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of seeing their new stuff, and I was like, that looks like Ghost.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing I thought. I mean, I've had conversations with Moby, and I've always gotten along with them, and they
Hmm.
usually create very solid formulas. Their
Right.
products are always kind of on the edge as
Yep.
being kind of a step ahead of the curve because they were one of the first ones to use Vaso 6. So they've always been very solid from the R&D and the science point of view.
For
I
sure.
just the direction of the brand. It seems that they've tried to reinvent themselves a couple of times over the past couple of years, and I just wonder if this is one more step, and then we're going to see another reinvention of the company in maybe 18, 24 months time, and then this is only going to be a temporary thing. I think I would like to see something a little bit more original, I guess.
Right, which that is what surprises me about it too, is because exactly like what you said, one thing that you can always say about them, they are always original when it comes to formulas.
Correct.
So to do that is just kind of, I don't know, but they always
Yep.
they pretty much whenever I see a formula of theirs, I at least go, I want to try that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No matter what it is, they can come out with a fat burner, like everyone else, and then you look at their formula like, I think I need to try that.
Yeah, there's a
And
little something special in it.
yep, so they always do a good job. So I'm curious to see what they do. It was kind of odd, odd
What do you think?
choice.
I mean, I know that they're big on the a lot of the bodybuilding forums. Um, I wonder what the average consumer is going to see in them, and is it going to be different enough to jump off the shelf for them to pick it up, or even pull away some of the business from Ghost, since the look is similar.
Yeah, and especially with Ghost, Ghost is making better formulas lately, or at least trying to. Um, I think you could have said, well, how long ago was it that Olympus Labs announced that they were coming out with that new pre-workout, that Levels,
Levels. I
whatever it
want to say
was?
that was like March or something.
Yeah, I mean that was like beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and nothing came out of it. So I
Right.
don't know. Kind of curious because I think what I've always said about them, I think their companies like them are good for the industry
Mm-hmm.
because they're very aggressive. They're willing to step it up a little bit. We talk about innovation and things like that.
Right.
So I want to see them. I want to see them in it for sure.
Yeah.
I want to see them get in the mix because what we're seeing lately is sort of a lot of the same old, and I know that they're probably on the cutting edge with some ingredients, and they'll take chances before other companies do. And so I think they're good for the industry just in general.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the Olympia experience, was there a ton of CBD stuff there? That's something I wanted to ask you earlier, and I just thought of.
I don't think so. There was. I do remember seeing maybe one booth or two booths that there was some CBD stuff, but nothing. I didn't really pay too much attention though either, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I just sort of. We met with people, and then I was like, okay, can we go?
We're done. Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
But it wasn't a big thing. Like I said the most I noticed was a lot of T-shirt companies, tons of T-shirts and apparel and accessories. There wasn't a lot of actual supplements.
How many? Yeah, I guess all the different apparel companies is kind of like all the different supplement companies. But how many different kind of T-shirts do you need? I mean, how many Gymshark ripoffs do you need?
Yeah, and what was that? There is that one company. What's it called? Gym Unicorn or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like Gym Unicorn. And it looks almost the same as Gymshark. I was like, really? I don't know. I totally agree. How many freaking T-shirts do you need?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
T-shirts is such an easy thing to do, and that's kind of part of the problem. It's like, well, I can just call up. Like when we got our T-shirts done, the Supplement Snoop ones, I was like, super easy and super affordable for really nice ones. And I was like, oh, this is why everybody does it.
Yeah. Well, that's what all the brands do. All the brands have started to step up their apparel as well. There's not just the blocky kind of crappy T-shirts anymore that are itchy or uncomfortable. They're starting to get into the softer textured shirts now, and ones that are a little bit more form-fitting. I'm just wondering how the athlete apparel companies and all that stuff still stay afloat when the brands can be just as competitive with them, and they're selling things. And that I don't see the big difference. Why would you want to go to a separate company to get your gym clothing when you can just get it from a supplement brand if you're already buying supplements from them?
Right, and a lot of times it's free.
Yeah.
And then I did see a lot of functional foods. There was a lot of that going on. Nothing. The one people they were raving about some popcorn, kind of popcorn, something. But
the Icon Meals popcorn, probably.
It wasn't Icon Meals. It was a new company that I'd never heard of.
Okay.
But we stopped by outright, so we got some samples of. And I think I'm gonna pick up. I'm not the biggest outright fan, but I think that they just came out with the oatmeal raisin almond butter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick that up. Just came out just the other day.
Good stuff.
That's right up. That's right up my alley. I haven't tried it, but that's right up my alley.
Gotcha. So I saw Lowliner was doing a Q&A the other day, and it seemed like he was lobbying pretty hard to sell Outright Bar for a couple $100 million. Since we just saw Quest get sold for $1 billion and One Bar got sold for $390. He was lobbying to sell Outright for $280 million or something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him. What the hell? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if they've got a successful product and people like it, and I think it's in a different space than Quest. Quest is veered off almost into the keto atmosphere. It's strange, because I know they've got a lot of, the previous owners were very heavily invested into keto research and cancer research and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of think that One Bar is. They still got the artificial sweeteners and all of that stuff in there, and the IMOs and whatnot. So I think that they're separate enough from Quest, and I guess Outright Bar is trying to dominate the Whole Foods bar category, but they've got a big undertaking going against things like Kind and Cliff Bars and all those kind of things that are the same Whole Foods bars.
Yeah, I think that's what I get. A lot of people are like, well, why don't I just buy a Kind bar? Or not Kind bar, what's the other one?
RX Bar? Yeah, RX Bar tastes like shit, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. I'm not really that big a Outright Bar fan though. At the same time, I
like
think they're cool, but
bars.
right, yeah. And it's like if I want a whole food bar, and I said this to somebody the other day, I was like, I'm just gonna go have some whole food.
Yeah, I'd rather go eat a bowl of oatmeal or something that'll fill me up more than the Outright Bars. The thing is, those things are gone in 3 bites, but they pack so many calories. They're so energy dense because there's so much honey in there.
Yep.
Um,
That's what I don't like about them. They're too small. I could eat 7 of them like
yeah,
easily, and it's like, okay, there's my whole day. So it is what it is.
it is. Yeah, it is.
But it's. I mean, I don't blame them. I know we talked about that before. Like that, you could kind of see that was. I mean, that would be the direction I would want to go, man. A
Oh
couple
yeah,
$100 million and get out of here.
yeah.
No
You can
problem.
go and enjoy the rest of your life.
Right.
Um,
It's not like it's a good product. You know what I mean? It's like so.
yeah.
It's not like they're not scamming anybody. They're not doing. I mean, it just makes sense.
No. Um, I have tried something new this week. A couple of new products actually. The first is the C4 Natural energy drinks, the little carbonated ones. I don't know.
Okay.
I got that look right there. I got the Snoop stare.
I'll just let you. No. That's all right. That's C4 Natural. Man, that's a lot of words I can't stand.
Yeah, the C4
Um,
Natural energy drink. So have you
I
tried
hate
the
every fucking word you just said.
this one? It's a transparently labeled energy drink, so it's kind of in its own class right there. It's got 120 milligrams of natural caffeine. I want to say from coffee berry or something like that. It's also got a gram of L-tyrosine, 250 of
Really?
cognizin citicoline.
Really?
Yeah. And what is the other thing in it?
Hmm.
Hold
I
on.
might
I'm
have
going to
to
go run
test
and
one
grab
of
the can.
these.
Stay right there. Occupy this dead air time for a second.
You might have to. We might have to send one of these products out and have this tested. You're telling me that. I mean, you're telling me that their energy drink is already better than their pre-workout. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it.
Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Okay, you didn't say anything to get me fired, did you?
Nope.
Okay, good. Okay, so I've got the strawberry coconut flavor here in this nice little, very effeminate pink-looking can.
That is pretty.
It is. It's pretty. We've got a gram of taurine, 500 milligrams of tyrosine, 250 of cognizin, and 120 caffeine from coffee berry. So
That's actually not bad.
no, it's not, and it's stevia flavored. Yeah, stevia flavored in
How
here, and
is
it's
I?
strawberry coconut. It's actually enjoyable. And I've gotten
Hmm.
a nice little nootropic effect from it. I enjoy it.
Hmm.
So
Damn, that sucks.
I know. I was prepared to
I'm kind of
hate it
bummed.
because it's naturally flavored. Um, I like C4 Ultimate. I haven't been ashamed to say that, but that's a solid formula. Granted, it's got a prop blend for the energy component, but the rest of the formula is
Hmm.
stout. The new whatever the extreme, whatever they recalled it, but was less than stellar. The transparently dosed C4 that came out a month ago,
Hmm.
that a lot of people had their skirts getting all blown up and they were all giddy about it. You and
Hmm.
I were less than enthusiastic about it.
Hmm.
But this is a nice little product. It's a 12-ounce can. I mean, they sent it to me for free. Would I go out and pay for it? I don't know about that, but
Hmm. Actually, sounds pretty good.
yeah,
That's right.
it's
Yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah. You get the C4 hookup.
I do have
They don't. I don't. For some reason, they don't send me anything.
I've
I
got
don't
a
know why.
connection. Well, I mean, I've written some articles for them, so that might help. I've got an inside
Yeah.
connection. I've known them for a couple of years now. I'm trying to get.
I don't think I've ever said anything nice about them, so that's probably why.
I will say the regular C4 energy drinks are ridiculously overpriced, though. It is $3 for a can at the grocery store for 200 milligrams of caffeine and probably 250 milligrams of N-acetyl L-tyrosine
Mm,
and some beta alanine
nice.
that's in there. Yeah. So I would say that's overpriced, especially when you can get a bang at the grocery stores by us for like when it's on sale. It retails usually like $1.98 a can, but I've seen it as cheap as $1.50. So and now the reigns are over $2. So
I'm not gonna say anything.
no, you're gonna play nice with the energy drink.
I'm just gonna let you go. Yeah, I get it. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's good though. Actually, I like that. I like that. That one right there you were talking about,
Yeah,
the
this is nice. I
natural one
mean, I like
sounds pretty good.
the transparent labeling is nice. The actual full dose of cognizant is really nice too.
Yeah, that's
Um,
weird. I think
yeah.
maybe I might have to reach out and say something nice to them.
You might just have to possibly do that.
I got to stick with my America
Oh
energy.
yeah. Oh, see, that's a company I need to get in. Not I don't need to get in good graces with them, but I need to reach out and reconnect with them because I haven't talked to them in probably a year plus.
I
I
think they're doing a bit of a revamp of the brand too. I know that's something Doug was
really
saying. I think they've had the same basic labels for a long time
yeah.
too, and I think they're just going to do a because their formulas are really good, so it's not like they don't have to change that. But I think they were talking about maybe doing a fresh look for Core. I think now I don't think people realize how long they've been around. You know what I mean? Because they never have been a big marketing company.
Right.
But
Well, is Core also doing a revamp, or is it just Miracle Labs that's doing it?
well, this is like Core in general. Just so I
Okay.
don't know if it's going to be like all their brands because I don't know if America really needs it. I mean, they have such a unique, pretty cool marketing as it is. But I think Core is what he was talking about, like maybe just freshening up their labels and the look.
Do you think that's necessary for companies, and do you like it when companies do that?
It kind of goes back into that controlled labs conversation that we were having earlier, where I it's like almost a necessary evil sometimes
Hmm.
because like look at like say NutraBio back in the day, it's like when you start a company, it seems like no matter what, you're gonna look back at some point and go, damn, like what was I thinking with that design or
Yeah.
um, but you just sort of evolve as a company, and I think it's good for not only on one hand, but a company to give a fresh look that maybe is more updated with their direction or maybe what they're going for, but also just the way, people respond to that stuff. People respond to,
Hmm.
you know, which is that's part of like the weird part of the marketing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately it depends. Or you could be like Olympus Labs and you just keep trying to reinvent yourselves and but you're not really doing it. Nothing is showing yet. So it's kind of a
Yeah.
weird slippery slope. I mean, if you've been around for a while and you're really going in a new direction, or is it some kind of forced, you know, oh, we're just going to try to do something flashy and get people's attention? But I think a lot of companies just generally, especially the way the industry is sort of changing, companies are taking a new approach
Hmm.
to a lot of what they're doing. So I think it's kind of cool.
Gotcha. Um, while in the past few days, we got word that Pitbull Labs was coming back. I think that first broke, and that's from Sam Strange, our buddy Sam, uh, Brit expatriate that's now here in the U.S. I think he got it built his roots with Gaspari, and then he broke off to do Pitbull Labs, and so that was around about 2 years ago, and now it's coming back again.
Hmm.
And they released the profile for the revamped Pitbull pre-workout. I like the original one that they did, and the flavorings were pretty good. But this new one, instead of it being called Pitbull Pre, it is Pitbull Labs Triple X.
Yeah, I don't think so. I never used Pitbull Labs before,
Yeah, it had
but
a monster dose of malt in it. If I remember, it was like a gram and a half, or almost 2 grams worth of that, which was most of the time we see that ingredient at like 750 or less.
hmm yeah, I think the one thing um, that struck so they must be involved with Intel
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yep.
Because they're using the same trademarked.
Colonase.
Which when I told you when I used the new Intel one, we were kind of like, well, that's a pretty low dose of whatever this combination is. But
Yeah.
actually, I got really good focus from that Intel pre-workout.
Did you?
But but it's not just the colon ace or whatever they want to call this. There's a lot of stuff that kind of plays into it. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I can't remember how he ties in there. Like, does he work for Intel? I think he works for Intel,
I think
and then
he's a sales guy with them now, or marketing manager, advertising manager, somewhere in the sales outreach area. As that's part of it, at least. I'm not sure what else Sam is doing over there. Which I told him
so
once Pitbull got off the ground, this relaunch was complete. I wanted to get him on uh, to get the backstory of the brand and the whole history of everything.
yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about him, and I think people are excited that he's sort of getting back in the fold. I talked to him real briefly, something Intel related recently, but I think just, I guess the point I'm trying to get at is I think we can kind of expect this pre-workout to sort of be in that Intel sort of vibe where
Hmm.
energetic for sure, a little outside the box. Well, this one's pretty straightforward. Um,
Yeah, it's got a lot of the same characteristics from the original Pitbull Pre. The new additions is that it's got the exotic stimulants. The original version had hygenamine in it, and
Hmm.
it had a little bit of rowalskine in it as well. New additions, new standout additions for this one that I remember are the Juglans Regia and the Aurea Durensis, which I love Aurea Durensis. I'm not ashamed of that. I love that ingredient.
Me too.
That's a
Oh,
really
so
good one.
they well, hey, they have a hey, just like Intel, they have a label mistake already. So
Fix that
maybe
up.
they're gonna want to fix that. The rewalsine at 2 scoops is half the dosage at 1 scoop.
Yeah, that's a whoops. Might need to ping Sam if he's. I'm sure he's aware of it already. Or I hope they are.
I
But
don't know, man. That Intel one made it all the way out.
yeah, that's true. You did notice
But
that.
yeah, yeah, I think I would be down to try this pre-workout for sure. I like the caffeine dosage where it's at
Hmm.
with the um, hegemine, reagerensis, juglans regia, and some alpha yohimbine.
Yeah, it's
This
got
is
a
like
kick in the ass.
that's right up my alley, man. I like the alpha yohimbine.
Yeah, and you'll get a little
Uh,
tampering from the taurine. That might tame it just a tad. I don't think much though. Um, I think taurine really needs to be dosed almost like 10 times higher than the caffeine amount in order to really get that dampening effect somewhere on the order of like theanine does.
yeah, we've been having a lot of conversations about this lately, and I noticed the same thing. Um, because who's it, Alpha Lion has just came out with an amino, like sort of an intra amino product, and it's
Yeah.
got like 2 grams of taurine in it.
Yes.
And what I told people, I was like, hey, that's fine. Taurine's a really cool ingredient, but if your pre-workout's got this in it, maybe your pump product's got this in it, now your intra's got this in it. 100%, I agree 100% with what Court said the one time when I use like the Myoblocks ones with tons and tons of taurine and
Hmm.
this and that. It puts me to sleep. I fall asleep.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's completely sedative. I like it. Cool ingredient, but it seems like right that balance is pretty important.
Yeah. It's well, taurine, like I mean we mentioned earlier, has GABAergic properties, and it used to be Primeval used to have this sleep aid 3 or 4 years ago. It's long been DC'd, but it was called Xanax with an IX instead of an AX, like the
Okay.
prescription. And that had 3 grams of GABA in it, and that thing would knock me out. I mean, I'm not GABA 3 grams. Yeah, I think it had 3 grams of GABA and 3 grams of taurine in it.
Wow.
So yeah, that thing would knock me out. There was no phenibut in it, but I slept great on that one, and I
Well, and I
wish they
think
still had that one.
I know the one study I was reading talked about taurine brings tyrosine levels down. And so that's what we got in the whole conversation of, okay, so if you're going to put taurine in a product, you should probably put tyrosine in there also.
Yeah.
If it's going to bring it down, you have to supplement it in some way, shape, or form, or
Hmm.
leave it out. But it's taurine's just kind of a goofy ingredient. I mean, it's really great in a lot of ways, but it seems like where do we put it sometimes?
Yeah, it's got a lot of things. I mean, I pulled up the Alpha Lion. Does this profile look a lot like a the Inspired intro product? I mean, it almost is because they are the only ones that I've seen use coconut water and Aquamin and Astrogen before. I mean, this looks almost like verbatim for the Inspired Nutraceuticals product.
Isn't Inspired is coming out with a
Yeah, an
one.
amino formula too. Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Whenever you see Aquamine, that's what I think is Inspired.
yeah, because they were one of the first ones to really use it. But
Yep.
for they do have a heaping dose of taurine in the Gatorade for Alpha Line, but they've got phenyl alanine in there, which is a precursor to which you can get tyrosine from that, and then all the other catecholamine. So there's a little bit of balance, but still you got 2 grams of taurine to 1250 phenylalanine. And then the other thing about supplementing with too much taurine is that it competes with beta alanine for uptake. They use the same receptor for uptake. So
Yep.
if you take too much taurine, could you theoretically deplete beta alanine or knock out some of its uptake? That's possible.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of these, right, it was kind of like the tyrosine thing. If they're, you're adding them together thinking you're doing a good thing. And I know people have talked about that too lately with different caffeine, caffeine, T-green, dynamine. If we're all like fighting for the same territory, where's that balance where we're helping, or are we, hurting? What are
Yeah,
we, what are we
exactly.
doing here? Especially as what seems to be the case lately in supplements is all we're really doing is just trying to add more,
Yeah.
of everything, rather than do anything sort of unique. We're just like, okay, we're just going to put more, grams in there. Maybe that's not the right move.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're a culture of excess. If a little of something is good, more of it must be that much better.
Well, that's what I thought was kind of cool about my experience with that Intel one. You look at the choline donors and you're like, okay, that's really underwhelming in a way, but I did have a good experience with it. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah, maybe take my own advice. I think, Stack just posted a new C4 Ultimate flavor for you, buddy.
I saw that. There we go. We're getting a storm here, and it's getting very dark. So I'm gonna turn on the light so you can continue to see my beautiful face.
That's what it's all about. I mean, that's where the ratings come from.
I thought so. I mean, when my hair is styled, we get like a 30% bump in viewership, especially among our female demographic, ages 25 to 32. So
Absolutely, man. That's the goal. I think.
if I even knew how to track metrics, I'm sure that would be nowhere near the case.
Yeah, you don't even want it. You don't even want to get involved in that stuff. It's just
No,
weird.
no
It
idea.
gets
No.
super super creepy. Um, I did hear Chris the other day talking about how they're making a new formula of Ember because they want to make it compliant for everyone.
A client across the globe, you mean, or just compliant within the U.S. and get rid of any
Yeah,
exotics?
I want to say across the globe, but it was for their athletes and stuff too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because that last Ember, the one that's out now, holy shit.
Lit you up,
Oh, that thing is one of the strongest products I've used.
really?
Like, yeah, I don't even do, it's like the only product that I don't do a full 2 scoops. Because the one day I don't remember why I was like, well, I'm just gonna take 1 scoop of this just to try it out, which I
Yeah,
never do that. I go full dose all the time,
right.
and I used it, and I was like, holy shit, I don't need 2 scoops of it. Sweating, pounding, but I think he said they're doing new flavors and new formula. So
That's exciting. Yeah, I have not tried the C4 on the go Ultimate. That one, I have not tried that one. But I think that's their. I don't think that's the energy drink one, or is it? Or is that just the
they're
one
pre.
that's in the little plastic bottles? That's like a pre-workout RTD kind of thing.
I don't know, man. I can't keep track of that shit.
I don't know. There's a new C4 every week. Um,
Yep.
Bang's got a new flavor coming out. South Florida. I mean, it looks kind of like your Miami Hurricanes a little bit.
Don't don't even say shit like that.
I mean, it's got the green, but the can looks a little more. This almost looks more like a Christmas theme than a Florida
Yeah.
theme because it's got
Yeah.
it's red and green. I get more of a Christmas vibe from it than I do an actual
Yep.
South Florida thing.
Inspired by South Florida.
Yep, it's they could just put they can call it the hurricane flavor. Maybe that is the
Please
flavor.
bang. Make it stop.
Oh, here we go. There's comments on that post. None from
So
our boy.
Ron Kramer?
Nope, none
No
none from
Kramer?
none from Mr. Kramer. Hoping it's their version of Baja, whatever the hell that means, or
Please
Mojito.
be Mojito.
Yes.
People are so weird.
Yeah, is it that hard to type out the full word, please? I've never understand the short version of text. Like see you there, like they'll put a C and
Right.
then a little U. Can we not
Right.
use
I
proper
get it when
English?
we had the phones where you had to,
Yeah,
scroll through each number. I get that,
yeah.
but yeah, anymore, come on.
I missed that. We got Sandy a new phone the day of the UT game because she needed to catch an Uber to get down to the stadium to go see the game, and her phone was so old that it wouldn't download the Uber app. So we walked into the phone store, and they still sell flip phones. I was very happy to see that.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of missed that.
Hey man, those things lasted. They were tough.
PES enters the beauty market in Renuvia.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm a little
We're just gonna
biased.
skip them. No, right now we're
I'm
gonna.
a little biased against them. Lately, I don't care how that sounds.
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about that too. I said, there's so many companies making so many cool products, and a lot of it's very similar. If you do shit like that, man, that might be it. Like,
Yeah.
because why would I ever go for one of their products anyway? Because none of their formulas get me excited anyway. But now, your social media person is a dick, so that's enough for me to be like, well, I'm not gonna buy your products. You know what I mean? So it's kind of,
Yep.
it's just stupid. One small move anymore, and it's like, well, there's 1,000 other products that look just like yours. Why would I just go somewhere else?
Yeah. The Magnum Nutraceuticals, a Canadian company, released a new pump formula. I'll read it out to you and get your thoughts on it. We got a
Is this on Stacked?
Yeah, it was on page 4, I think.
Okay.
No, I don't want to start a screen share.
Volume?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Hey, arginine. Cool.
Yeah, that was the big standout. A solid gram of L-arginine pyroglutamate,
yeah.
which meh.
Way to join 2019, guys.
Yeah, and Norvaline too. Everybody's phasing that out as well, slowly.
And it's got S7, so
it's clearly my favorite. Clearly.
Well, it's super cheap.
Well, yeah. From everything I've heard, I mean, it's like cents to add to a bottle. It's nowhere near as expensive as Vaso 6 or nitrosogene or any of the other worthwhile pump boosters.
Freaking Canadians, I tell you.
Yeah, the French pine bark is interesting. I like that. The agmatine is good. The Hydromax I like, but I think the Glycer Size or Glycer Swole, Glycer Pump, whatever it's called now, is the better one because it doesn't clump.
Well, I mean, and why not just use some citrulline instead of arginine pyroglutamate?
Yeah, or nitrosogene or anything aside from arginine.
Well, I mean, wouldn't citrulline probably just as cheap?
Yeah.
I don't know why we're still seeing that in products.
I don't know. Orange Dreamsicle Rain. That's up your alley.
Is that what the flavor is?
Yes, that's their new flavor. We discussed Gatorade already.
Yeah, that was the alpha-line amino.
Winners of Stack's Olympia awards.
Oh, geez. I love Stacked and I love Shane, but
the awards, yeah, this is what I don't. Okay, Animal Pro Bar is the best new product. I'd be curious to try Animal's Protein Bar. I have not tried that yet.
Yeah, let me. This is an interesting article, actually. Let me.
So pull that up. Let me get your thoughts on this.
People's Choice Performix. So here's something, right? And this was kind of funny because I was talking with Matt Nickerson.
Yeah.
And they're very excited. Performix is coming out with a new pre-workout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big deal. And so this is the night before the expo.
Okay.
We were all at a dinner. This is like Thursday night, and so after dinner we go to the casino. We're all just like playing cards, and Matt says to me, he's like, "Hey, Justin, by the way, I just want to tell you this now."
Oh no.
He's like that new Performix pre-workout. He's like uses 150 milligrams of Vaso 6. He's like, I just wanted to let you know before you saw it and flipped out. And I was like, well, I said, you're the guy that has it, man. I said, I don't know how I feel about that. Where if I had an ingredient, and we talked about this before, if I had an ingredient and it was studied at this dose, and a company wanted to use half of it,
right?
Especially a company like Performix, it's like you're telling me that you can't put 300 fucking milligrams in there instead of 150,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like, come on. So he did sort of let me know ahead of time. So I haven't even looked at the formula. I refuse to. So.
Yeah, it's I don't even know if even if they've released it yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Returns
don't.
with molecular hydrogen infused pre-workout. See, this is the thing that's always been my issue with Performix, is they've got
There
all of
was
this
something like
bullshit.
their whole like little booth that they had and the box
Yeah,
and stuff that the pre-workout came in. I was like, nope.
yeah. I mean, they had the time released capsules, and they make all this other stuff. And I want to say a couple of years ago, when I was covering more of the day to day products, they came out with like some $150 test booster or $99 test booster, natty test booster or something. I thought you can probably buy a bottle of testosterone for cheaper than what you're buying this bullshit natural
Literally.
test booster for.
Right. That's like that. What was it? The Cellular had one for like $200 or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
I just
Um,
there is nothing about this pre workout that gets me excited. I'm
they
looking
were,
at the formula now.
they were doing something else. I think John Cena's involved with something,
Yeah, I don't know how
and
the hell
someone
they
got
got him to
excited.
sign, but shit.
Someone got excited and were like, "Yeah, John Cena." I was like, "That's fucking great. What does that do for the pre-workout? Like, what does that do for my experience
Yeah,
with the pre-workout?" And I like people like laugh, like they get funny with me about like me and influencers and stuff. But I was like, literally, tell me how that helps.
yeah.
Tell me how it does anything for you other than mark up the prices of the product.
Exactly. I
I
mean,
was like,
this
I'm listening.
formula is it's shit. There's no other way to say it.
I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at it. Once he told me that about the half dose of ASO6, I was like, you know what? You can already tell the angle that they're going to go for. If they didn't bother to use the full
Yeah,
dose of it, then what else? What other corners are they cutting?
yeah.
So
I'll read it to you real quick, so you don't have to hurt your eyes staring at the label. Uh, 3 grams of 2,1 citrulline malate,
awesome.
2 grams of beta alanine, 945 milligram energy metabolism and focus complex, which consists of 300 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous, 250 of lion's mane, which is about a little over a third of the required dose, or a little under half, 200 milligrams theanine, 150 milligrams vaso-6, 40 milligrams of yohimbe bark, which is standardized for 8% yohimbine. So you're going to get 2.5 milligrams of yohimbine hydrochloride there,
Yeah.
maybe, or yohimbine itself, and then 5 milligrams of bioperine, or bioperin, however you want to say it. And then there's their molecular hydrogen matrix, which is 4.3 grams of a proprietary patent pending complex of acetyl L-carnitine, 1 gram, a bunch of essential trace minerals, and electrolytes, which is 500 milligrams of trace minerals and 200 milligrams of uh, magnesium. So you're getting a fancy sounding 1 gram of acetyl L-carnitine and some magnesium.
Yeah, that does sound cool.
God, and it's $45. $45 for 30 servings.
Well,
God,
I guess that's not crazy expensive.
no, but
That's
the formula
still.
is just how the
I thought for sure you were gonna say 20 servings for sure.
no, but how the hell is this the people's choice? I
Right, because it looked cool. They did some cool stuff with like the box and the over the top
oh yeah, that just shows
whatever.
consumers don't know what the hell's going on the label.
And then I see best booth was Rain Total Body Fuel. I actually didn't even see it. I didn't even see the booth. So
Maybe they're going after the bang thing where they have scantily clad women dancing around and throwing cans of highly carbonated, highly caffeinated liquid at people.
I mean, you think I would have seen that? I didn't notice anything like that. Like I said, the only like really over the top booth I saw was Redcon. But even theirs wasn't enough to get me to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I wouldn't stop at their booth if you fucking paid me, but there wasn't anything about it where I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on over there, kind of thing. I just happened to walk by it.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? So I think that awards right there kind of tells you everything. Best new product, Animal Bar, right?
Yeah.
Best booth, Rain. Best tasting product, EVL, Strawberry. Is that like the Steve Aoki?
Yeah.
Like that. I'm sure he had a big hand in that.
Right. I'm not sure who that is. I don't even know anything about the guy, and this
He's a
shows you my
DJ.
okay. Well, yeah, that shows you my knowledge of pop culture.
Right. And People's Choice Performix. Yeah, that about sums up the Olympia right there.
Nutrex launched a new Lipo 6 pre-workout, which it looks more like a stim
Oh,
bomb than
did
much.
you see Nutrex? Did you happen to see my stories? I reposted the thing about Nutrex where they said that they're yeah, let's talk about this.
Let's go.
They I couldn't fucking believe what I was reading, that they were actually going this route. But man, let me see. I think it'll be on there. Let me go to their Instagram page real quick.
Uh-oh.
They said, and Nutrex, man, I like what they're doing lately, right? I think they've been
They've
doing
got one of
some.
the best tasting isolates on the market. I'll say that without question.
I'm gonna send this over to you. Let's see. I'll text it over to you. It's about their EAA hydration products.
Oh, I see this. Oh, Jesus. I just pulled it up.
Better than whey. I can't. I just. It shocks me that a company that. So the funny thing is I actually felt compelled to respond to this, but then, the performance chef, who he's a pretty good dude. He led into them pretty good, so he really kind of covered it.
Yep.
So what was funny to me too, and someone else brought up the same point when we talked about this. They have a protein powder, a really popular one.
Yeah.
So you're telling people that that amino product that you have is better for them post workout than your protein.
Well, if you're on the brand side, it makes sense because they can probably make more money on the
Way
EAA
cheaper.
supplement
Hell
than
yeah, way cheaper.
the
But
EAA
it's
is
like
way cheaper than whey
way
protein powder.
cheaper. Ain't no doubt about that. I just it, it shocks me when you still see shit like that. And actually, I put it in my stories, and I was like, don't even ask me if this is. I was like, this is a load of shit. Don't even ask me
Yeah.
if it's true or not, because I was like, wow.
That's
That bums me out that you still see a company like Nutrex take that tactic. That's the type of tactic that some shithole brand that releases an amino product because
yeah.
they want to be a supplement company owner. That's the type of stuff that they say. They'll take that study or whatever and talk about muscle protein synthesis as if there isn't a million studies that show the closer to whole food sources you have is better protein. It is what it is. I just couldn't believe Nutrex went that route.
Yeah, especially when you have the word research in your name. I if you guys would have done the research and you would have known, yeah, it's marketing. I don't like it at all. I mean, all of the other things that they want to say, and this is the other thing:
It's a cool
clinically
product.
dosed EAA formula. Do we know what the actual clinical dose of EAAs is? I don't think that's been
No,
fully vetted.
no, and I was hoping because I know when Chemex was coming out with their EAA, Gorilla Chemist said something about they were going to shed some light on some actual studies with dosages, but he didn't. So we didn't really get anywhere. How's that flavor? That C4?
I don't know.
Good.
There was something kind of grainy on the bottom of the can that just
Awesome.
I just sipped on. But I mean, I opened this 2 days ago, so I'm just finishing off the other half of it.
Oh,
But
nice.
something went down the wrong pipe.
I think lawsuit. Lawsuit.
Oh man,
See, that's what I get, man. I give C4 a compliment and it kills you
it
almost.
kills me right there on the air. Hey, take over the podcast for me. This is my dying wish, Justin. When I die, you get to. I bequeath to you the podcast.
And it's under your name? Oh boy.
There we go. Yeah, yeah. All
That could
royalty
be fun.
checks get sent to Sandy and the kid.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, that was the Nutrex thing I thought I saw the
Yikes.
other day.
Okay.
That was rough.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to their Lipo 6 Black training. This is their latest offering, which has entered the market. Now they've got so many different pre-workout formulas. The original Outlift is awesome. And they've got Outlift Amped is pretty good too because it's got a little bit of Rowalskian in there. It's got 2 forms of caffeine.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good one. Even at a half serving, that one hits me really well. I found, and the flavors are great. I love the flavorings. That Nutrex does a really really solid job with that. This I don't understand the pocket sized pre workout scoops that they do too. I mean, is it
Where are
because
we
they
at?
already have Outlift concentrate? It's from 4 days ago. So, and they also released a BHB formula a little while ago too.
Yeah, I
You
think we
know,
talked about that
yeah, we did.
before.
I just shot you the link to it. We got a gram of choline bitartrate, a gram of glycersize, 375 caffeine anhydrous, 150 theobromine, 50 milligrams dicaffeine malate, 2 milligrams of alpha yohimbine, 1.25 milligrams of bioperine. I don't know. That's not going to do jack shit. And 200 micrograms of huperzine A.
So the big headliner is a gram of choline bitartrate.
Yeah, and that's not even really going to cross the blood-brain barrier at all. So that's going to shore up, plasma levels of choline in the body. But the nootropic effect is mostly going to come from like the caffeine, the 375 of caffeine, and the
It's a lot of
200
caffeine.
micrograms of huperzine.
Yeah, I mean, so someone will take this and go, "Hey, man, this feels great because you're getting
A buttload of
what is that?
caffeine, 400 milligrams of caffeine.
400 milligrams caffeine, and then theobromine and some alpha yohimbine."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean it's great for a caffeine hit, but you get 30 servings and it's $24. I mean that's not a bad price, but it's you're paying for really good tasting caffeine at this point.
oh, they put 425 milligrams of caffeine from two sources, but that's not true.
Yeah, it's not the yield.
Regular cost is $30 for 30 servings. 20% off coupon. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I get it. Whatever.
Yeah.
$1 pre-workout. I guess that's what you're gonna get.
Yep. And we touched on the Evogen there, trifecta of pump pre-workouts coming out before you left for the Olympia, and the formulas have been revealed now, and it's I would say it's very underwhelming.
I think all their products underwhelm me whenever I see them. The one has 2 grams of arginine nitrate, so I was told that the arginine nitrate it's like 74% arginine and then 26% nitrate.
Yeah.
Even though everybody gets patented, right? So
yeah.
So at 2 grams, because I think the new Inspired one has like 3 grams of it, and you get some good nitrate. But if you have 2 grams of arginine nitrate, so I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen anything from Evogen where I was like, oh, I want to try that.
Yeah, I mean the 6 grams of pure citrulline's nice. Beta alanine, I don't, or creatine. Creatine's an osmolite, sure that'll help. I don't know. I don't say 400 milligrams. All right, so that's the whole. I mean it's 400 caffeine, 600 milligrams DMAE, which I've never been a huge fan of that ingredient.
A half gram of lion's mane. Yeah. I guess that's not bad.
It's not bad. I guess I was more referencing their EVP AQ, which is 2.5 grams of betaine, 50 milligrams of S7, and 20 grams of glycospan, which is vegetable glycerol.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember someone showing that to me.
Which I'd be curious to see what the actual yield of glycerol is.
Yeah. Right. So the EVP Extreme NO, that one's not too bad. Pass.
Yeah. One thing I've always, because I've done a decent amount of reading and research into nitric oxide and different pathways and stuff. The half-life on nitric oxide in the body is less than a second. So all of these things that boost nitric oxide in the body, I wonder, are we actually getting any benefit from these so-called nitric oxide boosters? Are they actually having any ergogenic effect?
Well, once you add the S7 in, then it's good. Once you add S7, then it's all good. It's going to protect it for what is it, up to 8 hours, 12 hours?
Yeah.
So
250% up to 8 hours.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating ingredient, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always wondered is, I mean, because citrulline can also do the ammonia buffering, and it might do some stuff through the Krebs cycle, and maybe that's how it's conferring its ergogenic properties. It's not actually through enhancing blood flow and nitric oxide. So that's one thing, and plus the body's going to tightly regulate everything. So are these supplements that actually boost nitric oxide, are they having the effect that we think they're having.
Right. That's why it's good to see, some of them that will give a study that shows the levels are boosted, say, after an hour of training or after an hour and a half of training, where a lot of times we don't get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it's always nice to see that, because it's like, well, right, exactly like what you're just saying.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, then I think we are. Oh wait, this is an interesting one. This hit the Friday of the Olympia. 13th Floor is coming out with 5 new supplements.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know if I can say the guy behind the brand, but he's. I won't say it yet. I mean, I know who it is, but I don't know if I can reveal that yet.
Gotcha.
We'll just say he's got a very long history in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, did some time with BSN way back in the day. Yeah. But I think they're going for like that horror theme kind of vibe with it, because it's called Force Feed, Legion, Sandman, Slayer, and Kaiju.
Kaiju.
The Kaiju is
natural
their
testosterone amplifier.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what those are.
Said I can always tell a lot about a company by their pre-workout, so I'm curious to see what Legion looks like.
I don't see any of the labels on the site yet. The flavors sound interesting.
Yeah, it's nice that they have a syringe.
Yeah. You like that?
That's an interesting. Okay, so there is some. Hey, it's got S7 in it.
Yeah, I did know that. I did not have S7 in it.
2.5 grams betaine, 1.5 agmatine, 50 milligrams S7, 350 plus caffeine anhydrous. Okay, 1 gram choline, but it doesn't say. I'm guessing that'd be choline by tart rate. 75 milligrams NMT. That's interesting. And 30 milligrams of synephrine.
Yeah.
That's not really. Okay. Well, whatever.
Yeah. What I find funny is so your and I's feelings of S7 are fairly well known. And so I don't know if you've had this interaction yet, but I'll get a call from a company, and they're coming out with a pre-workout formula, and they said, all right, so it's got this, and this in it. And they said, it's also got S7. They said, yeah, I know how you feel about that, but, we couldn't, it's just so cheap, and it's one of the newer ingredients in here. So the company owners themselves know that the ingredient is questionable at best, but they're thinking, oh, it's the new kid on the block. It's cheap to throw in there, so we'll get it regardless. We'll throw it in there. Why not?
Yeah, and and honestly, I'm cool with that. I think we talked about that last time. If you're not driving up the cost right to your customer, and you're sort of rolling the dice on it a little bit, it in theory, I mean, you look at it like, okay, that could have some benefit to it. But I get that a lot, where I can't believe, I'm still baffled by, this company, that all their flavors are literally syringe needles full of liquid. Like, that is amazing. Holy shit. But yeah, I get messages all the time. Companies will qualify what they're about to say before they say it. Like, sometimes to me, they'll be like, hey, look, we know how you feel about X, but what do you think? I'm like, a lot of times too, it's like, I'm not that extreme about stuff. I was like, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like you give them a little bit of leeway, and they go too crazy. It's like, companies, if you let them, man, they just, they'll hit me up, like some that obviously don't follow me and things like that. They'll just hit me up out of nowhere, and they just start going, and I'm like, I'll just be like, stop what you're doing, stop, go back to the beginning, cut all this shit out. Let's talk. If you want to talk for real about this product, I was like, you want to keep going marketing? I was like, then you're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll tell you what. These are some cool labels, man.
Yeah, I like the labels. It's got the horror kind of vibe, and 13th floor. I mean, no building has 13th floor for a reason, so I think that's kind of a cool spin on it.
So we inject these things, these flavors?
Man, that could be a one way to do it. I mean, I don't know what would happen if you injected 350 plus of caffeine into your veins. Probably nothing good.
I really want to know. I wish I was like a fly on the wall for that marketing decision. Like, hey, instead of showing like maybe some fruit for the flavor, the gummy worms like everyone does. Let's do a needle.
Colored needles, yeah. We'll color with the flavor.
Let's do colored needles.
Pineapple strawberry sounds like a good flavor, though. I mean, I'm a sucker for a good tropical flavor.
Me too. Yeah, especially injected.
Yeah, Americanade. I wonder what that is like. I mean, is that like a fusion of lemonade and rocket pop?
I'm out, man. I got nothing.
I don't know. So, yeah, dude. All right, man. Well, this was a good session, a good jam session, and
yeah,
I'll hang around after we officially cut this out. I got one quick question for you, and then I'll let you get on with your day. So, all right, guys.
All right, brother.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the podcast, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Go download and purchase the Supplement Snoop app, and subscribe for future episodes of me and Justin ranting about our ravings in the supplement industry.
Nice.